What's going on? It's Sunday. We got some NFL divisional games. I'm in the house just watching football and, of course, chatting it up with you guys. What's up? Hope your weekend is going well. I am the Sports Judge. Welcome. It's a 3-day weekend for some. Guys, what I witnessed last night left me speechless. One of the best games I've watched, by far the best game of the playoffs. What a game. Jared Goff wouldn't tell you that. It's one of those games that's impossible to forget about, but he will revisit. If that was me throwing 3 picks in a game, it's one that I would quickly forget about. I would never speak of this again. I wouldn't want to even think about it. In the playoffs, you can't overcome bad quarterback play. On this particular night, divisional matchup, big game, a pivotal game at home, in your house, in front of your home crowd, this was a game you had to have. Of all games, Jared Goff picked this game to look horrendous. And when the Detroit Lions needed him to be lights out, he couldn't get it done. I believe, in my humble opinion, that Jared Goff is not a playoff quarterback. If the Lions ever want to win a Super Bowl or even get to the Super Bowl, Goff ain't that guy. The question for folks is, why do some people think because he had a great year statistically that his regular season brilliance will translate to the playoffs? For some, it does, and for others, it doesn't. That's just the nature of the game. The game last night, I've talked about this numerous times. Jared Goff, in terms of stats, at least, are better than most quarterbacks in every category. But now, what does he have to show for it? His team has been eliminated from the playoffs in large part because he performed horribly. That game last night was trash. It was hot garbage. In every way, you had more reason to fear something like this would happen. You know, I'm looking at this game and I'm seeing a guy, for whatever reason, letting the pressure of the postseason get to him. I thought he looked rattled and never really found himself. It doesn't matter what he did in the regular season. It was what could he do in a game of that magnitude, in a game that mattered. You win this game and you go back to the NFC Championship game. It's hard to defend Jared Goff. I mean, he lost the ball on a strip sack and had 3 interceptions. 4 of the 5 turnovers were committed by Jared Goff. 3 of those turnovers were in Washington territory. How much of this was on him? I would say all of it was on him. It's not what he's done all season long. A lot of them were just bad decisions. It's something I watch and say Jared Goff is not a franchise quarterback in the NFL. I think as the pressure mounts, he crumbles. People will say, well, he's had a great season. Yeah, but we need somebody who shows up in the playoffs and who looks as sharp and as efficient as he did all season. I would rather have a quarterback who plays like trash all season and suddenly steps it up in the postseason. The first thought I had seeing Jared Goff was that this was an absolute nightmare. I thought to myself that he's the perfect example of what not to do in a playoff game. A shockingly bad performance like this is what a coach can use to show his players what not to do in a playoff game. People want to defend it, come up with excuses for why he looked bad last night. Don't put this on the defense. You as the quarterback can't play a certain way all year, then go Two-Face, Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde with the season on the line. I think he was uncomfortable, and just the way he got exposed last night. I mean, my goodness. I thought last night was one of those stories that says Goff is just one of those quarterbacks who flames out. You had a team that many regarded as a Super Bowl caliber team that lost at home to an upstart Commanders team. So to me, what it says is that it's not what he can do, it's what can you do against tougher competition in a playoff game. It's ultimately what you do when it truly matters. Because I look at it as whatever you do in the regular season, it gets erased if you get bounced in the playoffs. He's a B quarterback in the regular season. The final grade on his report card is a C minus, maybe even an F with a U for unsatisfactory. There's this tier of you're really good, but you're nowhere near great. That's the kind of player that Jared Goff is. He's a good player to get you there, but he's not going to win you the Super Bowl. That's the kind of player that I say Jared Goff is. There's a bunch of those guys in the league. I don't think this guy is going to be able to get to that level where he's viewed as this elite quarterback. He was in a perfect situation this year. He had a strong run game behind him, which enabled him to flourish and had a great year. He had Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs. And Ben Johnson was your offensive coordinator. And when it mattered the most against a young Commanders team, divisional weekend, we did see a quarterback fold like a lawn chair. I wouldn't view the best of Jared Goff from this season and say, oh boy, that's the quarterback that will take us there and lead us to our first ever championship. Excuses are written. He'll be fine. We'll forget about this season and Jared Goff, and who knows how efficient he'll be next season because Ben Johnson won't be back next season. He's been interviewing for head coaching positions, and in this coaching cycle, I think he leaves Detroit as he's ready for a new challenge and a bigger role as a head coach somewhere in the National Football League. So with that said, Detroit's offense will look a lot different next season. That is just something to keep in mind. And if he struggles off the script the way he did, I know he'll look just as bad as he'll have to adjust and learn a new playbook. A lot of times it was Ben Johnson who put him in good spots to thrive. Last night, the ball was in Goff's hands too long on many plays, especially out of empty formations. This season, he was better with protecting the ball. Then last night happens, pressure ramps up, and he turns it over 4 times. There was nothing good about last night. People will say the injuries on defense were just too much to overcome. What does the defense have to do with a quarterback turning it over as many times as he did? You know what else was bad? The defense. They were not good on that side of the ball, and having 18 guys on IR doesn't help. Jared Goff cooked this season. Great year. To me, the season goes to waste. This is where we have to nitpick. I have to nitpick you because you're in the postseason now, and there's no margin for error. What's going on, Jared Goff? Now we're talking about how bad he was, his inaccuracy, lack of mobility, decision-making, which lost the game, right? Okay, yeah, hey, now he's getting vilified, drawing criticism, with some blaming him for the loss, and rightfully so. I understand. I can see why people are blaming him for the early postseason exit. The thing is, you're the quarterback, and when something goes wrong, you get 90% of the blame. How can we not look at you and not point our finger at you when you had 4 turnovers in the game? So, of course, you are the guy to blame. It was a horrible night for you. It's a night that you want to forget. And I don't know if I can ever trust Jared Goff to lead my offense. I think the run game made him look good. I think Ben Johnson and his incredible play calling made him look good. There's just certain things that made Jared Goff look good. Like when he was in LA, Todd Gurley was his security blanket. Made him look good. You see what I'm saying? A guy like Sean McVay calling plays. You know how brilliant he is. Made Jared Goff look good. I think if you put Jared Goff on a team with an average running back or a running back that's not as good with an average play caller, I think if you put him on a team like that, he's going to be one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. He's probably not even a top 10 quarterback in the league if you put him on a sorry-ass team with nobody calling plays or with a running back who is not as stellar like the guys he had behind him in Detroit. You put him on a team that is not as good, trust me, Jared Goff will look like a terrible quarterback in this league. And we will have a lot of negative things to say about this man. It won't be good. Trust me. Trust me. He's in a good situation. And where he's at, Detroit, it just happens to work out for him tremendously well. He fits within that system. It's a quarterback-friendly system. And because he has a play caller who's very creative, comes up with creative plays, put him in good situations, well, Jared Goff is this quarterback that looks good. Doesn't necessarily mean he's a good quarterback. He's just in a good situation. Thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate it. I really appreciate the love and support. Let me get back to this Buffalo and Ravens game because you guys know I will have content on that as well. I will have content on all these games, by the way. But, guys, it's been a pleasure chatting once again. As always, it's your guy, the Sports Judge. And if you guys haven't already subscribed to the YouTube channel, please do me a huge favor and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And, guys, if you guys are watching this on TikTok, because TikTok was canceled, it was banned, and then less than 24 hours, we get TikTok back. So if you guys follow me on TikTok, and if you guys have come across this video on TikTok, please do me a huge favor and follow back. But, guys, I'm out of here now. Take care. You guys have a great rest of your Sunday. Bye, everyone.